What's up, crew? My name is Piper and I am so excited to finally be back making videos because it has been, I think, about 6 months since I posted my last video, maybe 4 months since I actually posted it, but it's been a while nonetheless, and I'm a little sheepish about that, but that is okay. The point is I'm back and we're ready to rock and roll. I'm gonna give you a rundown of what has happened in the past 6 months because I went kind of AWOL and just vanished. So this is everything that I've been doing and what I have also not been doing. Okay, so June 7th, I came back from Bali. That was like my first international solo trip, first time running a proper photography business, first time working online fully remotely in a different country. There was lots of new firsts. There was also some really rough downtime. Sometimes looking back on it, I'm not sure how I managed it in those moments. There was just some stuff with business that didn't work or finances, and there was a few things that happened with certain people that just, it was not rough in a bad sense, but just not ideal. And I really don't try to regret things. I think if you regret things, that's really silly. So I don't regret anything, but there's a few points where I was like, well, it was less than ideal. Anyway, I came back from Bali after that whole craziness and exploring and a whole bunch of other crazy stuff going on to Melbourne, which was really good. It was really nice to see everybody again, but the slowdown, like the letdown of just after backpacking Australia for almost 9 months, going to Bali for 2 months and coming back and just existing. And you're sort of like, wow, like how do you bring this travel excitement energy into your normal life? What does normal even look like? Will it be how society does it or how you do it? And there's so many different things that go into it. It's all very mentally confusing. But what I did, my plan was to get back in Melbourne, try to find an apartment or a share house, probably get a job for a few months and go on an adventure somewhere. I hadn't really thought it out. I was like, I don't know, I'll save up and travel again. Details don't matter. So I got back to Melbourne, but finding an apartment was really difficult. The problem was I wanted to get a job sooner rather than later, but I wanted to get a job close to where I'd be living. But if I didn't know where I was going to be living, I didn't want to get a job. So I was sort of like half-heartedly applying for jobs and also trying to find a place to live, and it just, nothing was coming through. So in the end, I just decided to stay at my grandparents' house, which in the moment I was sort of like, felt like a step back. But looking back on it, it's been so good, they're not being morbid, but they're not going to be around forever. So it was really lovely to be able to actually spend a decent amount of time living with them, and I'm pretty busy, so we don't always see each other, but it's just nice to have a place and be with family, I guess. So I really try to take that not for granted. And then because I was at a stable location, I was able to get a job. So I started bartending, and then also a little bit later started working in a cafe and doing some baristering. So sometimes my weeks look very busy, sometimes my days look busy if I'm going, like, working full-time hours and going from a morning job to an evening job. It's very chaotic. But aside from that, I was doing a bit of photography work. I had some problems with the back end of my affiliate marketing business. It's all very complicated, techie stuff. They teach you how to do it all in the training, but my particular I was having like different issues. So me and my mentor were like trying to solve it. So every time you hit one of those roadblocks, you're sort of like, oh, well, I guess I'll go do something else for a little while instead of actually solving the problem and keeping moving forward. But I got in a general slump with life. And that was probably because I was working loads. I didn't have a ton of friends. Like, my social life was sort of the people at work, which that's great, but I really thrive when I have a connected community around me, and that just wasn't really happening. And I probably could have gone and found it, but I got in a general slump, and then I took 2 weeks off work. This 2 weeks I had scheduled for a while. This was the one thing I was going for. I was like, I'm going on a holiday, and there's nothing you can do to stop me, and hopefully this will work out. And this holiday was for lots of different reasons. I bounced all up and down the east coast of Australia, started off in the Gold Coast, then I went down to Sydney, then back up to Brisbane, and then road tripped back down to Melbourne. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing it that way, and next time I will pay the extra $50 when I book flights to have like refundable flights, because I probably lost about $400 worth of money on plane tickets because I didn't end up using those flights. But I'll run you through those 2 weeks and I'll be diving into them more a little bit later. Basically, the Gold Coast trip was for a business retreat, which is so exciting. I finally got to meet all the people that I'd been working with online for like the past 6 months. We all knew each other, we're all best friends, but still there's something so different about meeting them in person, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can give you a hug and all this sort of cool stuff. I actually gave a full-on presentation, and one of my passions is public speaking and motivational speaking. And so I was able to give a presentation on fear and not letting it stop you and how to sit with fear and that it isn't actually a bad thing. It's your brain's way of keeping you safe. But that was a really, really cool experience. I'm so grateful for that. And I'm really looking forward to doing more things like that. Anyway, I had this Gold Coast business retreat and then I jumped in a van with a few girls from the online business and we road tripped in a van down to Byron Bay and then went back up to the Gold Coast, flew from the Gold Coast to Sydney, met up with some old friends from traveling, made some new friends actually. And then from Sydney, I went up to Brisbane and this was already pre-worked out, but I landed in Brisbane at like 10:30 and at 2 o'clock that day I had bought a car, which is mind-blowing. So exciting, so exciting. I have not had my own vehicle since I left Canada in September of 2022. And that was, I love her, but it was a little Chevy Aveo, a bit of a shitbox, sort of like, you know, one of those first cars. It was a classic first car. And now I have a gorgeous Honda CR-V. I just love her to bits. I'll do a whole different video on that car and everything going on because I just, I'm fangirling over my car, which has never happened before. So anyway, flew to Brisbane, bought a car, met up with a different friend, and then ended up reconnecting with an old friend from when we were homeschooled together in Gembrook like 7 years ago. It was this really crazy circumstantial thing that it ended up working out, but we vibe really well now and I have a new friend and I met more friends through her, so that was phenomenal. And then I drove all the way down from Brisbane to Melbourne in my brand new car, which was very exciting. Got to meet up with another friend along the way. We had a blast of a day. It was a crazy adventure. We went driving, took a bunch of photos, saw Brumbies, which are wild horses in Australia. Like such a cool day. So that was really fun and random. And that was my 2-week adventure, which was crazy. And so I've come back feeling so rested, refueled. My whole passion for the business is rekindled with this business retreat and meeting everyone and hearing how they do things. So the next few videos that I put out are just going to be a rundown of those few weeks because I have so much content, it's crazy. And I really want to focus a certain amount of time on each section of the trip because I just think it was important. There was so many moving parts and so many new different things going on. I think that'll be really cool. It'll be everything from a business retreat to waterfall adventures to buying this new car. It's all exciting stuff, so make sure you stay tuned for that. If there's anything specific that you're curious about, drop a comment on this video so that I know that you have questions or want to learn about something in particular, and then I'll make sure to mention it in the few videos coming up. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I know it was not quite the adventure style I always do, but still I just wanted to jump on here and chat because I've just vanished for 6 months. So this is me. I'm back in the game, baby. We are ready to rock and roll, and I am just so excited to see what the end of this year has to offer and the start of the new year. There are so many things to be excited about, and I can't wait to share them all with you. You have a great day, legends, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye!